Now we move to Fabio Datri. He's a deputy head of a unit at DG Santé, and he has been working there since 2004. And among several tasks that he looked after, he worked on the negotiation for the adoption of the new regulation on clinical trials. So, Fabio, the floor.
Thank you very much, Antonella. Yes, the new that now is a little bit old because we are amending with the Biotech Act the clinical trial. But thank you very much, and thank you very much, the European Access Academy, for having invited me here, and INAMI for hosting us. So MEP Sokol have already given an overview of the various pieces of legislation and what is happening and how they are touching upon the HTA framework. So we are not, with other pieces of legislation, changing the HTA framework, but we are integrating and better having the coordination between the various bodies and the various regulators. So I will quickly describe them, but first I wanted to speak about I think it's this one. Yeah, the main piece of legislation, MEP Sokol mentioned it, the pharma reform. The pharma reform has been, there has been a political agreement in December, thanks probably, as he said, to Trump, the change of political situation that has, it's a huge package. We are speaking about more 1,000 pages. And still is not formally adopted. There is a lawyer-linguist discussion, but is expected to enter into force of publication on the official journal at the end of 2026, and then there is a 2-year transition period, so full application in 2028, but there are some part of the pharma reform that will apply immediately at the moment of publication or 1 month after. These are the regulatory sandboxes and, for example, the voucher, so for the development of priority antimicrobials. But in these 2 years, it's not that nothing will happen. There is a lot of implementation to be done. There are a lot of delegated implementing acts that will allow the real application of the new legislation, and so all stakeholders will be involved, and the various associations also in drafting the various parts. There are a number of these delegated and implementing acts. And before going into the HTA-related provision, I wanted to give an overview of the pharma reform. So first of all, tell you what it is. It's the biggest reform in the last 20 years of the pharma legislation. The pharma legislation has been amended, I think, 12 times in the last 20 years, but now is the first time that is a completely new legislation. The last time was in 2002. We have a new directive, a new regulation that replaces the current directive and regulation, and also integrate the rules on medicine for children and medicine for rare diseases. What we want to do is streamlining the legislation, making future-proof, while ensuring the quality, safety, and efficacy of medicine like it is today, and improve access, availability, and affordability. The pharma reform is the first piece of the puzzle that has been agreed, but is complemented by other legislation that are under negotiation. MEP Sokol has mentioned the Critical Medicine Act, which is rapporteur, the Biotech Act that is starting the negotiation, and also the medical device and the in vitro diagnostic legislation. And we have to see all this legislation as the pieces of a puzzle, because they are all complementary, and even if they have been approved by the Commission and negotiated in different timing. So this is a very, very full slide, but I wanted just to show you the main, I will not discuss about all the points, and these are only a part of the innovation that are presented in the new pharma legislation. The importance, I mean, also for HTA body, is to look at the future. So to be sure that what the rules that we have now are future-proof. So we see more and more complex product that we don't know. Not even, I mean, yes, there probably are medicine, but sometimes maybe the rules that we have today are not completely fitting. So there is this concept of regulatory sandboxes, so the possibility to create temporarily adapted framework that can help an idea, a product for which the current rules are not fully adapted, to be assessed, to be developed, first of all developed, and then assessed and authorized. Again, in a very controlled framework. This will not be thousands of products, but very few products for which the rules are not completely fitting. And then to see if this rule will completely fit, and then transfer this into an adapted framework. So in a framework that will become permanent for that category of processes. The support. What is also proposing the new is in the new pharma legislation, is no more a proposal, is very early support. So the possibility for developer to get, in particular SMEs, to get support from the agency, especially on what they have to develop, on which clinical trial to conduct, and which data they have to provide. We have heard MEP so-called speaking about EMA. EMA, yes, is the agency that assesses the medicine, but we want to simplify also the way that EMA work. So the new pharma legislation propose a simplification. Again, I always speak about propose, but now is reality. Come up with a simplified structure of the EMA, a slimmer way EMA work, without avoiding duplication in assessment. Or example, for the possibility for EMA to review data in batches, so the data as far as they develop, so this so-called phase review reduce also the time for the scientific assessment of a medicine, and allow the use of real-world data, real-world evidence for the authorization that until now was not the standard. So a lot of innovations that are in the pharma reform. But yeah, I wanted to focus now in the last 3 minutes on what the pharma legislation and the HTA framework. So we are not, the pharma is not amending or revising the HTA regulation, but facilitate the way how EMA and, for example, the coordination group on HTA work together. So there will be the possibility to have parallel scientific advice with the joint consultation conducted by the member state coordination group on HTA. In this way, very early will be possible that the two bodies understand which are the products that are coming to the market and help developers to collect the relevant data. So there is an agreement not to discover that after that HTA have different needs and then what is necessary for the marketing authorization of a product. Facilitate the exchange of information between the agency and the HTA bodies. This is formalized. And on the pharma legislation, create a new categories of develop medicinal product, medicine that are addressing unmet medical need, and there will be guidance for identify which are this medicine, and the HTA bodies will be involved, will be one of the partner of the agency for the development of these guidance. We have heard about the Bollard provision from MEP so-called. The Bollard provision is the possibility for generics or biosimilar to start certain activities while the market protection is still covered, and the new pharma legislation allowed that the HTA assessment is start to be possible during the market protection is still ongoing. And another very important, according to me, point is this forward-looking. So EMA and HTA bodies will look forward and try to identify which are the innovations in the field of medicine that are coming up in the future, in the far future. So identify this what is coming as development. And I would like to link this with what we are proposing on the Biotech Act, so the last point, the BTA that I mentioned there, because I'm working on the Biotech Act also, and what we are proposing here is the creation of this foresight panel, and the foresight panel is nothing different than what the different bodies are already doing, so horizon scanning, but putting all the bodies together, so EMA, HTA bodies, medical devices bodies, and, for example, the substance of human origin bodies. So all together, they sit together. We will not replace what they are doing, but they exchange information on which technologies, which product, which development are coming in the next 10, 20 or 30 years. So everybody is prepared, because what we see is that the product and the technology are coming are more and more complex and cross-framework. So we want that everybody is really aware well in advance, with 10, 15, 20 years of what is coming in the development. And on the CMA, the Critical Medicine Act, we have heard from MEP Sokol that the CMA is again only a proposal under discussion, foresee the collaboration between EMA and HTA body for some type of procurement. So thank you very much. This was in a nutshell the interface, and happy to take your question later on. Thank you.
Thank you.